Faithful decision to quit all pharmaceuticals and grow my own medicine. I didn't know that cannabis was medicine then, but I did use pot to quit painkillers, muscle relaxers, and mood enhancers cold turkey. Realization of its medicinal value would come in time. Time brings me back to a year ago and another interesting soul. Richard Harrison, aka the Dude, Zeke, or my favorite, Smoky Chipotle. If it's not raining, that's his classic Norton motorbike outside. He is a cancer survivor, a journalist, writer, chef, drug test pilot, and someone I felt a strong kindred relationship with from the moment we met. A friend. He is a hunter, a musician, a lover of life, and a man who is always on the quest for, well, the next quest. While exchanging many emails, we started sharing stories and articles with each other. A few stories led to a file, and all of a sudden, we both realized around the same time that there was more than just correspondence there. What I had amassed is easily enough to produce a book or two. I am proud to announce here that in addition to my duties as editor of Treating Yourself magazine, plus contributing articles to High Times, Skunk, and many other magazines, including Absolute Underground, I will now begin the task of helping Smokey compile a book based on his life and times. Believe me when I say he has some great stories, like how lids came to be measured in lids. It will be my first go at putting a book together, but it will be good practice for when I write my own someday. Thanks, dude. You rock, but I'm on a roll. Meeting wonderful people like Michelle, Richard, Chrissy, and Ray has taught me one thing. Everything happens for a reason, in time. Last year, at this time, I had no idea that the YouTube video I produced with lead representative RCMP officer David Bratzer speaking would be viewed less than 700 times. And a video of me doing a roar bong hit while on Chili Rock Radio would be viewed 20,000 times. Nobody knows what the future holds, but I'll tell you this, the tide is turning with medicinal marijuana cresting the wave, pushing cannabis awareness higher and higher, pun intended. Just a year ago, talk show personalities would rarely even mention marijuana, except as a punchline to stereotypical stupid stoner jokes, perpetuating the slow stone slacker living in the obligatory parental basement, eating junk food and watching cartoons. Did you hear about the stoner who studied 5 days for a urine test? Now, marijuana is mentioned almost every day on almost every channel, and the jokes aren't so derogatory anymore. Did you hear about the all-new natural alternative to alcohol? Yeah, it gets you wasted without the hangover. It's called weed. Well, I guess they're slowly catching on. Fact is, medicinal marijuana is being discussed on a daily basis in a serious way by thoughtful people. The time is right for cannabis hemp to help heal a very wounded world. I see no reason why it shouldn't or couldn't be taxed and legal. Millions of people use marijuana, and there is no reason to demonize weed or the people who need it.
Yeah.
In a perfect world, maybe perfect sobriety could be the norm. This isn't a perfect world, and sobriety definitely isn't the norm. So why can't we all just get a bong? Yeah. Wife Michelle has Crohn's disease and stage 3 melanoma. Her father and oldest brother have both succumbed to cancer, and March holds yet another surgery for my bride. Richard has cancer, most likely from government DDT exposure, and just about everyone I know has some form of distress or disease. My mom has Crohn's, arthritis, and migraine headaches. My dad has high blood pressure, and so do my 2 half-siblings. I consider myself lucky to only have arthritis and anxiety. I can deal with this, with cannabis. Without, there's no doubt I have a lot to complain about. Speaking of complaints, right after that David Suzuki spectacle the other night, there was a 1-hour show called Cannabis, chronicling Canada's multi-billion-dollar marijuana industry. You know, my major complaint, aside from thugs thinking they got a hold of some secret recipe for making money, my main gripe is this: it was embarrassing to watch. Not one person on that program actually knew how to correctly nurture cannabis. I really want growers to pay more attention to detail and treat their reefer with respect. I wouldn't put a dog in most of the grow rooms I have seen in my life. The conditions can be deplorable, damp, and dirty. How can you expect to produce clean medicine in a filthy environment? You can eat off the floor in my grow room. Marijuana is not some new invention or fad to be exploited like a happy hippie face on a t-shirt. Marijuana is medicine, but unfortunately is also commerce. The show depicts mom-and-pop growers in Canada supplying collectors. These collectors supply huge gang networks, and these unorganized, organized gangs supply America. The cash is so hard to conceal that it is somehow easier to take the U.S. greenbacks into Mexico and South America to buy guns and copious amounts of cocaine. I still can't figure out how it is easier to smuggle explosive and drugs across not one, but 2 borders than it is to simply smuggle the money. My openness and honesty about smoking sense and growing ganja has propelled me from dime bag buyer to standing before you now. It is needless to say that cannabis crosses all social, economic boundaries and encompasses a myriad of behind-the-scenes services and goods required for success. Recently on CNBC, a documentary called Marijuana Inc. shows the U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency acknowledging that without the financial benefits created in the marketplace by marijuana, most of Northern California would be a ghost town. Truckloads of buckets, soil, timers, lights, nutrients, etc. would never have been ordered, delivered, or purchased without pot smokers and pot growers contributing to the economy. Not to mention food, clothing, shelter, and vehicles to haul the loads. Cannabis consumerism is easily a $10 billion a year market just in Northern California alone. The Governor, Arnold Schwarzenegger, is presently hearing strategies for legalizing the bud, and Mexico has legalized small amounts of all drugs, effectively being the first in North America to push the war on drugs further underground where it belongs. Back in December, Michelle launched a brilliant plan to increase awareness of opposing Bill C-15 in Canada, which calls for mandatory minimum sentencing. Also known as the 3-strike rule, a plan that has failed miserably in the U.S. She made a video promising a free medicinal t-shirt to anyone in the world who writes a letter to Honorable Chief Justice Rob Nicholson. So far, we have given away over 100 free t-shirts. Now that Parliament has been delayed, we are extending the offer indefinitely. Maybe they aren't working, but we are. Together we can all put the fist in activist. Put yourself in our hands so your voices can be heard, and together we will take on all the world. Put yourself in our hands so our voices can be heard, and together we will take on all the world. Come on, wake up and smell the solution. My final thought before I wrap it all up is to live in the moment, live for now. Now is all we got. Trust me, the good old days weren't that great. You really wouldn't have wanted to be there. Remember, these are the golden years. Yeah. Peace, metal, and buzz!